Oh my God.
I'm going to send you home for the day. You might want to think about whether this is really the right job choice for you.
I apologize for that.
Well, you know, I have to let you go as a delivery driver.
Really?
Undercover boss brutally fired employees because of this. Think of your boss as a covert snoop, watching your every action from the depths. What if even little errors had awful results? Today, we're uncovering the shocking truth of an undercover boss who brutally fired employees and the surprising reasons behind it. The business that Jacqueline worked for ended up having a terrible experience as a result of her work as a front desk manager. Not only did her foul language and unprofessional actions damage the organization's reputation, but also they caused clients to stop doing business with them. She exhibited a complete disdain for providing exceptional customer service by adopting an impolite attitude toward the customers she served. A customer's initial point of contact with an organization is the front desk manager, making this position one of the most important in terms of conveying a favorable first impression of the company. However, Jacqueline was unable to see how critical it was to present herself in a manner that was appropriate for a professional setting.
I'm not a slave. I don't work for you. I don't know what to do with some people. I just want to punch them in the face sometimes.
Being personable, helpful, and considerate to customers is the cornerstone of good customer service. The way Jacqueline behaved was totally in opposition to these guiding ideals. She failed to comprehend and empathize with the needs of the clients, which left them with the impression that they were undesired and underappreciated. Jacqueline's behavior was in no way commensurate with the role of front desk manager, as it is difficult to fathom how she was ever hired for that position. This kind of behavior not only has an effect on the bottom line of the organization, but also makes the working atmosphere for her coworkers quite unpleasant. Her lack of professionalism ultimately led to the termination that she so richly deserved.
I'm disappointed, Jack. There's nothing else I could do.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Hopefully, this will serve as a reminder to all the employees of the significance of maintaining a professional demeanor, respecting one another, and understanding the role that their actions can play in the overall success of the company. Jimbo, the general manager of Hooters, had a horrible attitude towards the female employees working for him and engaged in activities that degraded and exploited his workers. One of the most troubling aspects of his behavior was the fact that he used embarrassing games as a method for determining pay reductions. This practice not only revealed that he lacked respect for his staff, but also revealed that he abused his power within the workplace. Jimbo was in a position of authority and responsibility at the company because he was the general manager. However, rather than cultivating a friendly and welcoming working environment, he resorted to humiliating strategies that undermined the dignity of his female employees. Not only did he violate their rights by making them participate in embarrassing games, but he also fostered an environment that was awkward and antagonistic toward them.
Go! Oh, get some of that. Oh, look. Brianna, how are they, baby? Oh, they look tasty.
Regardless of their gender or position, all employees should have the feeling that they are valued, respected, and treated equally. Because of his conduct, it was clear that Jimbo had no respect for the safety of his employees or of their legal rights. Exploiting colleagues for one's own entertainment or financial advantage is not only unethical, but also harmful to one's workplace trust and morale because it destroys the sense of community that exists there. It was fortunate that the presence of a covert boss made it possible to expose Jimbo's inappropriate behavior, which ultimately led to his termination from the company.
That you interact with the girls, quite frankly, is inappropriate.
And I took a step back and, okay, I get it. I get what he says, and yeah, I'll make it happen.
Wes, the kitchen manager at Buffalo Wings and Rings, was shown to be an individual who abused his position of authority by engaging in bullying conduct and demonstrating complete lack of respect towards his staff. This behavior led to Wes being terminated from his position. Because of his activities, a poisonous and hostile work atmosphere was established, which had a negative impact on the morale of the personnel that was under his supervision, as well as their physical and mental health. Wes was the kitchen manager, thus he had the important responsibility of overseeing the efficient operation of the kitchen and efficiently directing the workforce. However, rather than cultivating an environment that is helpful and conducive to collaboration, he resorted to treating his colleagues in a manner that was condescending and disrespectful.
Pete is a little bit. He's definitely made of.
No, you just blew my mind with your last comment.
It was clear that Wes was engaging in bullying behavior toward his staff members by the insulting language he used. The team's fear, worry, and overall morale suffered as a result of his disrespectful actions, which demoralized the group.
So clean. You were on the floor? Oh, yeah. on the floor in the kitchen. My floor, I would totally have on my floor.
Respect for one another, clear and open communication, and a supportive atmosphere are the pillars on which a productive and positive work environment is founded. These essential principles were breached by the conduct of Wes, which resulted in emotional discomfort and a decrease in the general productivity of the kitchen. This kind of action is not only unethical, but also harmful to the organization's chances of being successful in the future. The true nature of Wes's behavior was revealed when the undercover employer, who was posing as an employee, witnessed firsthand the level of his contempt and bullying of his coworkers. This ultimately resulted in the termination of Wes's employment, which opened the door for the establishment of a more pleasant and respectful atmosphere at the place of business.
The decision that Sean would like to make.
I'm not going to change me. I am who I am. Sorry, I'm such a scary monster.
In a dramatic episode of Undercover Boss, the founder of Gigi's Cupcakes goes undercover to investigate the inner workings of the business. During this quest, the boss discovers an unexpected discovery. One of the cupcake decorators lacks the essential talents to design cupcakes that fit the company's high standards. As the boss takes on the role of a trainee, they meet the decorator named Jason. The employer was expecting to see the creativity and precision that Gigi's Cupcakes is known for, but he is surprised when Jason struggles to duplicate the unique swirl that marks Gigi's Cupcakes.
Is that the Gigi swirl?
That's the Gigi swirl.
This is not the Gigi way. Jason does not have my swirl right.
Jason is clearly unfamiliar with the skills and attention to detail required to satisfy the company's requirements. The boss's displeasure builds as they witness Jason's new gaffes. Jason's abilities and execution are far from good, from poorly applying caramel to failing to arrange the cupcakes appropriately. Each blunder undermines the boss's hope of hiring a very qualified and motivated decorator. Despite the first disappointment, a ray of optimism emerges. Jason's manager notices that he has an underlying love for his profession. The boss takes a different strategy in the big reveal. Instead of firing Jason, they provide him with the opportunity for growth and development. Jason is invited to Nashville, the heart of Gigi's Cupcakes, for a 2-week training program to hone his abilities and learn Gigi's technique of cupcake decoration. The employer provides Jason with a large monetary sum to help alleviate any personal difficulties he may be experiencing.
I want to pay for you to come to Nashville to train for 2 weeks and learn all the right Gigi's way. Well, to help further your dreams, I want to offer you $30,000.
In an episode of Undercover Boss, the chief operating officer of TV Electronics assumes a clandestine persona in order to evaluate the effectiveness and caliber of the live concerts that the company hosts. The chief operating officer sits in on a concert that is below average and does not live up to the expectation of the organization. The COO comes into contact with AJ, a sales and support tech who was unable to supply answers that are adequate regarding the concert's deficiencies. COO expresses their displeasure and dismay, citing the absence of an explanation as well as the apparent negligence. During the course of the confrontation, the COO uncovers an unexpected facet of AJ. It has come to our attention that AJ has a strong affinity for music and has even contributed to the creation of a track for a charitable cause.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing, but I'm going to make sure Kansas City Bankroll can do another concert, and this time we'll get it right.
Even though AJ's performance at the concert was less than stellar, the chief operating officer acknowledges his dedication and sees his potential. In the grand reveal, the COO makes a commitment to address the deficiency and ensure that upcoming events live up to the company's brand standards.